In this lesson, I want to show you how the Leadwerks entity script system works. Now, until now, we've been writing all our code in this main.lua file, and that's a great way to quickly test ideas out. But when you're writing an actual game, you probably want to write scripts that are attached to an object in your scene. And to do this, we have the entity script system. So to create a new entity script, we just go up here to this plus sign under the project tab and click New Entity Script. I'm going to choose Player for the group, and I'm just going to call this My Player, and press OK. And that creates our new Lua script file. Let's open that up. And we'll get rid of all these. So this shows you all the properties, the different property types that you can expose to the editor. We'll talk about that in a minute, but for now, let's just get rid of it. And then we're going to get rid of, all of these are optional. All of them are optional, but I'm just going to use the start and update function. So that's all it really does, is it just creates a table, a Lua table, and it assigns it to this global value. And then it just says, it just has a function for start, and this is going to be called when the scene starts. And then update, and this just gets called once per frame. So let's add some code to this. Let's see. First, I'm going to get the window. Active window. And this function can return null, so I'm going to check for that. If window equals nil, then return end. So that'll just quit the function if there is no active window. And then I'm going to say if window key down, key left, then move x equals move x minus speed. And okay. Well, first let's say local move x equals 0, local move z equals 0. So this is a motion value, and then we're going to change this using the keyboard input. So what this does is when the left key on your keyboard is pressed, then move x will be move x minus speed. If the right key is pressed, then move x will equal move x plus speed. So if move x starts at 0, then this will turn it either into a negative or positive value, depending on which key is pressed. And if both keys are pressed, they'll just kind of cancel each other out. And let's just copy and paste this. And we're going to do the same thing for up and down keys. And that will make instead of changing move X, we're going to change move Z with those keys. Let's create a local value for speed. We'll make that equal to 0.02. And then finally, we're going to use these values. I'm going to say self move x 0, because we're not moving vertically, move z on the z-axis. So in Leadwerks 5, self is the entity. You don't have to type like self.entity move. It's just self is the entity, and you can attach values to it, or you can call entity commands. It's nice and simple like that. So we'll just save that. Now I want to create a simple scene, and I'm just going to make a big box for the floor. And then I'm going to make a little box, and that's going to be the player. And I'm going to change the color just to make it stand out. Okay, now we select this box and we're going to hit this select script button. And this lets us choose which script is attached to it. And I want to go to player, and then here's my player. That's my new script. I'll just double click on that. And finally we need a camera so that we can see anything in the scene. So we'll create it up here, and then we'll take the rotate tool and rotate it around. So it's pointed right at our box, right at the player. That should be pretty good. And finally, I'm just going to add a skybox because it looks nice. Okay. I'm going to call this start.map. And now when I run this, I should be able to control the box with the keyboard if I did everything right. And there it is. That camera is a lot further away than I want though. So let's move it closer. Let's try running again. Okay, that's better. Oh, I think when I hit the up key, it's moving down, and when I hit the down key, it's moving up. So I think I actually reversed those. Move down, move Z equals, yeah. Move Z. Okay, so now I hit the down key, and it's coming towards me. That's right. Okay, cool. Now I want to try something different. I actually want to create this camera in code instead of having to place it in the editor every time I use this script. So I'm going to delete that. And then in this start function, I'm going to say self.camera equals create camera. And I can just, the world for that is just self.world because self is this entity. Okay, so my camera is created in this start function, and that only gets called once. And then after the player movement code, I want to have some code to update the camera position. Let's see. So I can go self.camera, set position, self get position. So that's going to put the camera right where the player is. And then I can modify the rotation, self.camera, set rotation, 45, 0, 0. So that's going to be pitched down at a 45-degree angle. And then we'll go self-camera move, 0, 0. Let's try -2. And so that should create a camera in code, and then after we handle the player movement, then this will place the camera where the player is, rotate it, and move it away, move it backwards. And that should give us the look we want, so the camera will follow the player. There we go. It's working perfectly. Now I want to show you one more thing. I've hard-coded all of these values here. But let's say I want the speed, I want to make some parameters that are adjustable in the editor. I can do that very easily just by typing them up here. Speed equals 0.02. We'll use the same default. And then here's the trick. After this, we just add a comment with, in quotation marks, the label that we want to display in the editor. So I'm just writing speed, but I'm going to have the first letter capitalized just because it looks a little bit nicer. And I'm going to make another variable that says camera distance equals, what did I use before, 2? Okay. I'll make it a positive number because that's just more intuitive. Okay. And so these values will be set in the editor. If I don't assign them in the editor, then they'll just be these, whatever the defaults I set are. And then what we can do is we can get rid of this local speed variable. And instead of using that, we can do self.speed. I'll just copy and paste that in. So we're always using self.speed, and then let's see, here we'll go negative self.camera distance. And when I save that, the editor will automatically detect the file that the file was changed, and it'll read the Lua file, and it will detect these tags, and it should show these parameters in the editor with the labels that I've defined here. Yep, there they are. So first, let's just run this and make sure that it works. Okay, so that's exactly the same as before, and I didn't change any values, so that's all good. Now I want to make the distance really close, and I'm going to make the speed, let's say 0.1. So that'll be a lot fast. The motion will be a lot faster, and the camera will be a lot closer. And that's exactly what we see. So this shows how you can use entity scripts to attach behavior, any behavior you can imagine, to an entity. You can expose properties so that they show up in the editor. And then your scripts can be used and reused in different scenes. And in each scene, any customizable properties you want can be adjusted here. And you've got total control over what they are and how they act and what they're labeled as. So that's the entity script system.